maybe to understand, like, what is this thing? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Why do I have to go through this pain? Why do I have to go through this fear all the time? Why can't it just be peaceful all the time? Then it wouldn't be life. You know, it wouldn't be life. We have to take life at its terms, life on life terms, not life on our terms.
Welcome to the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy, where you will learn the tips, tricks, and strategies he teaches his world-class clients to give you the skills to dominate any business.
What's going on, Mindset by Design crew, and welcome to episode 413. Hope you're amazing as always and life is treating you awesome. Do you know what? I missed last week. I do apologize for you regular listeners. The reason is I'm in the UK right now visiting family, and do you know what? It happens. We moved out of a house. We moved into another house. I moved countries. Hey, look, you've got 412 episodes to listen to before this. So I hope you caught up with some of those. Do you know what? Today's episode, it's going to be a little bit deeper. I'm not sure where it'll go. I'm not sure how long it's going to be. I have no idea. But the reason is this. You know, on this podcast, I cover so many different things, from world-class guests. We've still got a stack of interviews to get up and live. I tell my personal trials and tribulations. I'm very honest about this, about working with really high-profile clients, living around the world for 21 years, my highs, my lows, my highs again. And do you know what? I haven't met a single person ever, and this is working with thousands and thousands of clients all over the world, speaking all over the world, working with billionaires, working with people who've just got an idea, getting it going. I haven't met anybody behind the scenes that stays consistent, high level, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It just doesn't happen, right? We are human. And what I've really worked out over the years is that, well, let's tell you a little bit about myself, right? Nothing that you don't know, but going back in the day when I first started using neuro-linguistic programming and psychology and behavioral psychology and persuasion and influence and all of those things, it was purely for sales. That's all it was about. I was just closing deals, and I did it really well. I was one of the top performers in 2 different countries in investment real estate. I used to teach departments, hundreds and hundreds of salespeople. I used to set big cold calling centers up. I used to do so many different things. And in sales, it's like business, and business is like life. And what do I mean by that? What I mean is that sometimes you're in flow, man. You're in the zone. You're kicking ass. It's like you're indestructible. And not that you probably watch Formula One, especially with a lot of American listeners out there, but go and check Ride to Survive out. It's a Netflix documentary. It's been going on for quite a few years. It makes you love Formula One. But we've all heard of Lewis Hamilton, right? Lewis Hamilton. Probably the most famous Formula One driver in the world. And he was the champion beyond everybody else for 7 years in a row. He was like straight Jedi, doing ninja skills out there. He really, really was. And then he lost. He lost the season. And it was a controversial way that he won, whether it was a bending the rules by the other person. But it doesn't matter, right? He lost. He lost that season for the first time in 8 years. And yes, the next season, his car wasn't performing, all the rest of it. But the truth is, like, this season, and not that I'm a big Formula One guy, but this go watch that Netflix season. You will love Formula One after this. But what happened was, he just can't win. And it's the same in, like, high performance. It's the same in sales, trading, business scaling, whatever it is. You're an e-commerce founder, you are a Saas founder, you are a high real estate person, you are whatever it is business that you're doing. What you got to understand is that there is a flow that must be maintained, and it's like a bubble. And when that bubble gets popped sometimes, it's hard, really hard to get back on the that flow. It takes a lot of work, right? Especially like for a salesperson, if you've dipped in performance or success performance, as I call it, and you start beating yourself up, the neurological patterns start wiring the wrong way, your focus goes the wrong way, your self-talk, your attitude, all starts to link down the wrong direction. And the challenge with that is, well, if you understand the brain works like a muscle, right, and you're pumping that old muscle, then that starts to become your dominant behavior. That's not a good place to be in, man. It's just not. And it takes sometimes a lot of work, or what I teach is a reboot. We got to reboot your psychology, right? And when we can reboot that psychology, then we can fire you back up and you can expand into blue oceans again. But before you do that, understand that that dip is a scary, scary place. And it all comes from perspective. But so is life. Life is perspective. You and me could be sitting there looking at this sunset, right? One person could be looking at it nearly crying because it's so beautiful. Maybe they got a bit of sun in their eyes too, like, but it's the sun is so beautiful. The other person could not even be focused on it because they're so caught in the head. Do you see? But it's still the same sun. That's perspective. That depends on how the brain is wired. Are you present? Yeah, sure. But it depends on how the brain is wired, or what is your level of emotional mastery or mental mastery. That's the trick, right? And it's not really a trick, it's a superpower. It's the skill. That's also the skill that gives you 8-figure ideas. That's the skill that makes people billionaires. That's the skill that gives you deliberate action every single day to make sure that you keep that consistency, right? So when you can understand that life is perspective, then you kind of get a little bit philosophical. And one of the great badass people of the world is, you gotta love Mike Tyson, right? I've done martial arts and fought since I was a little kid. So it's Mike Tyson. Now, Mike Tyson obviously was one of the top boxers ever, for sure. He's still 55 or 56, and you want to see him on the pads, hitting the pads and bags. He's a beast. He's still a beast. But the truth is, through this journey of Mike's absolute highs of 400 plus million down to basically nothing, and then moving his way back up, he's learned a lot of things. And he's become deeply philosophical. And when you can look at greatness and model greatness, then what that happens is you've also not got to just model his external achievements. You've got to model his internal behavior or his view of the world. Does that make sense? So when you can do that, everything changes. So why am I in the UK? Okay, now we're going to get a little bit deeper now. I'll get a little bit more heart-centered now. We can't just talk about neuroscience all day and things like that. Well, one of the family members he's had those last stages of their life, right? And through Parkinson's. And it's kind of heartbreaking to watch. But I learn and grow and self-reflect and all through this. And often as an entrepreneur, we live by the sword, we die by the sword. We live by our creativity, our desires, sure, but our ideas, right? And that ability to consistently move forwards and execute on ourselves. That's performance. That's what performance is. And when you're in an emotional situation, as most entrepreneurs are, because most people are, right? We're all human, and we're navigating this crazy world, and society's in shambles right now. Well, for some people it's not. Perspective, right? But I want to make sure that you're not just constantly striving for wealth, or let's change the word, striving for money. You should be striving for wealth. Wealth is emotional, physical, mental, spiritual, whatever wealth is, right? But money is amazing. I love money. I'm a big fan of shiny things, big fan of luxury, big fan of money. But at the end of the day, once you've got a certain amount of money, it doesn't really mean that much. Do you know what I mean? Unless you want to go and start buying mega yachts and private jets, and well, there's ways to do that too. We're looking at buying a big company right now. But the truth is, what for? Well, I'm doing it so I can secure some legacy for my family members, for sure. And the other side of it is, I just want to see if it's possible. I just want to see if it's possible. I come from the roughest background ever. I come from a really blue-collar, working-class background in Liverpool, UK. Actually, where I am now. And it's I've come a long way from there. But what that means is that it gives me contrast of perspective when I come back and visit, right? It gives me a contrast frame, right? You cannot know what good times are unless you've had bad times. You cannot value money if you've always been wealthy. You cannot value love if you've always had love, right? You cannot value health the same way if you've always had health. And when you understand this about life, your business expands rapidly. Why? Because that inner driver that motivates you every single day gets turned up. It gets turned up. The fire gets hotter. The light gets brighter. Because you can either allow life to beat you or you go to win. And it's not a competition. It's a strange combination of training your nervous system and brain. It's a strange combination of being divinely guided or intuitively led. You know those little niggles inside of you, and then sometimes we ignore them, but we know what we should do? Well, if you do them, shit works out. It does, right? It does. And so it's a kind of a balance of these things, and then constantly upgrading who you are, constantly upgrading your network so you can absorb this next level of belief system or what's possible. And when you can understand that this is the game of life, man, everything changes. And you know what? Why I come back in full circle to tell you about what's going on with family members? Well, that gives you a perspective of understanding that this life is finite. There is a day that you are going to, or night, it might be a night, or an afternoon, but it means that you aren't going to be here anymore. This computer game is over. This ride is over. Now, maybe AI and artificial intelligence and stem cells and genetic modifications might change that. But even then, right, we're not quite there yet. Even Jeff Bezos going to go. I know he's trying not to. He really is, but he's going to try and go. And when we can understand this, man, it gives you a different perspective on life. And that's why I wanted to share Mike Tyson today. That's why I wanted to share what his belief systems, his philosophies. And it's not just about Mike, but if we can take some golden nuggets from that guy who's experienced such high highs and such low lows and then high highs again, then we can take it in our side of ourselves and gain a different perspective. Does that make sense? So that's what today's episode's about, crew. That's what today's episode's about. And speaking of doing awesome things, I hope you are. I hope you are. And I want to help you get that faster. I want to help you get that smoother. I want to help you do it today, right? And how? Well, 3 different ways. 3 different ways. First one, plain and simple. Head over to andymurphy.online. Get your copy right here, right now, of the Total Mental Control Handbook. It's a badass book. It's all for you. It's going to help you understand brainwaves, your nervous system, what peak states are. It's going to get you able to give you so many tools to be able to switch off and switch on, and so many cool things, and it's free. It should be charging like $1,000 for it. The information in there, but hey, you can get it for free right now. Go to andymurphy.online. What else can you do? Well, you can go to andymurphy.online and go to shop. Click on the little shop tab, and what's going to take you to is a couple of different programs. One is the 8-Figure Thinker University. Truly the most complete, ultimate mental training academy that exists on earth. And you might go, whatever, Andy. It is. Go and test it. It is. It's the most complete. It takes you on such a massive journey. It gives you all of the skills, from subliminal communication to upgrading your neurology to being able to drop into flow states at will. Your productivity will double. Your ability to network, communicate will triple. Your sales ability will go through the roof, and just you performing on a daily basis will just. You'll go and see. Just go and see. Go and check it out. That's the 8figurethinker.com. If you are a trader, then you need the Genius Trader. You need the Genius Trader. It's going to give you all the foundations that you need to have a rock-solid mindset in any capacity. It's really cool. So many people absolutely love it. So if you're a trader of Forex, if you're a trader of crypto, if you're a trader of commodities, go and get that program for yourself. It's really cheap right now, so go and take a look. What else? Well, the next one's not for everybody. Those other ones definitely are for everybody. This next one's not for everybody. That's where you get a chance to, whether it's through weekend immersions in person or on over video, over Zoom. You want to work with me for 12 months. You want to sort out a specific issue. You are growing your business and it's stressing you out. You are growing your business and you know you need to upskill to handle the pressure, or upskill to create and solve an issue. Whatever it is, look, trust me, I've worked with some of the best in the world, thousands and thousands of clients, and I have very specific systems to reboot and expand you. So if you're used to being a high performer and you're just kicking ass, but you've dipped slightly and you're just in that place, you go, I just can't find that fire again. Well, come and have a chat with me. Plain and simple. If you are expanding right now, or you know you need to reboot and then expand into blue oceans of possibility, then yeah, come and have a chat with me. I don't even take on one person a month, but I have slots come and go, and for the right person, I'm always gonna help you. So go and apply. Click over to mentoring or coaching, fill in the application, and let's just have a chat. Plain and simple. Whatever level you're at, let's make it happen to get you to the next level. So go and do that now. So you got number one. What is it? You got your total mental control handbook. Go and get it. It's free. Number two, if you're a trader or want the ultimate mental training system for an entrepreneur, then you've got those two. 8-Figure Thinker, Genius Trader. Number three, if you are a high performer, you have dipped in performance and want to reboot psychologically and hit that expand into blue oceans, then guess what? Let's have a chat. I've got many different ways I can help you. So 1, 2, or 3, you know what level you want to play at now. Sound good? Beautiful. You know what else sounds good? Go and hang out with Mike. Let's go and hang out with Mike right now. So head over to andymurphy.online, go and grab your thing, and I'll see you at the end of the show.
If I die tomorrow, I've won. I have to write the world a check. I have to pay for my sins. How much of this you can take before you say, let's just be finished with this? You know what I mean? It wants to show you something. It wants to see how much you can take, how much you can handle of life. You say you love life, you want to live life. I'm going to show you life. Life is beautiful, but you have to accept the good and the bad as being beautiful. You can't accept the good, oh, this is beautiful. Then we lose some of our life sucks. Life is beautiful because life gave us the ability to just know them on our journey in life. We met them. We loved them. We cared about them. They cared about us. That's the purpose of life. Just to enjoy what we had while we journeyed through it. Because sometimes we don't understand, like, what is this thing? What is my purpose? Why am I here? Why do I have to go through this pain? Why do I have to go through this fear all the time? Why can't it just be peaceful all the time? Then it wouldn't be life. You know, it wouldn't be life. We have to take life at its terms, life on life terms, not life on our terms. You know, we have to live life on life terms, not on our terms.
Let me jump in there, crew. You know what? Mike's getting emotional already. He's getting emotional. Do you know what? He brings up such an amazing point, and it's we try and control, and this is at every level, and especially with scaling a business, right? So what happens is, as you get higher and higher up, you have lots of people working for you, and your role changes inside of that business. Often as solopreneurs, you have a small little team, a couple of people. What I've found through, again, thousands of people, and including my own life, what happens is you get so used to doing everything. You know what I mean? Doing absolutely everything. Or you've got or you start to take over control. Let's say that, right? And what happens is, as you grow, your role changes because you start filling in the blanks of people that can do those systems for you. Or if you're a solopreneur, you're just uniquely gifted and you're kicking ass, whether you're a trader, whether you're running an e-commerce brand, whether, you get what I mean. And again, we still need teams. Or we still need people to help us in very specific areas. It's like coaching becomes a cheat sheet. It really does. It's a hack. If you wanted to learn baseball, right? I don't play baseball. I don't know why I'm saying baseball, but if you wanted to learn baseball, what would you do? Well, you would go and hire the top person that you can afford, and then they would show you the exact things that you need to do to be able to get to the result you wanted faster and faster and faster and faster, right? If you hung around with LeBron and you wanted to play basketball, then if you'd spent a month with LeBron, do you think your game might get better? Of course it would, rapidly. If you hung around with people who play football, but you want to play basketball, then you get what I mean? So when we understand this, everything begins to change. So giving up what I call the control wheel is one of the biggest skills we can do. It's the same with content we're putting out there, right? We can't control who's going to view it, like it, anything. We can't control that. We just have to put it out there and let go. It's the same with mistakes that we've made in the past. It's the same with seeing a business venture. We just got to do it, pull the trigger, see what happens. It's the same with management or running teams. We have to allow that person to be able to run that system without you micromanaging every detail. And if you are micromanaging, it means that you've done a shitty hire, right? So make better decisions. And when we can understand that perspective, man, it's not your terms, like Mike is saying. It's the universe's terms. It's whatever the hell you want to call it, man. But it's not you. You can't control these things. What you can control is your reaction to it. What we can control is our emotional reaction to it. Whether we enter the fight or flight response or whether we enter a higher level peak state, that becomes a choice. Now, it's not an easy choice unless we pre-built or pre-designed and pre-installed those behaviors. If we haven't done that, that's like going into, that's like what, I'll use this example. That's like watching the UFC every single week and then getting in a cage and thinking you can fight. You're going to get found out quick. Well, that's the same thing with business and life. We have to precondition the brain and nervous system to respond how we want it to. That's what I do.
I keep thinking it's all about love. Love is the essence purpose of life. I keep believing that. Come on, fuck the game. Is it that simple?
Yeah,
Is it that simple?
I think so. Yeah.
That we're fighting for something that's just so right there, you can do it, but you just don't want to let go.
Yeah.
Listen, when you really find real love, and so my first experience with real love, the first, I've never experienced, I ran the other way. There's no way that you're going to accept it full-heartedly. It's scary shit to think that somebody really loves you regardless of all your flaws and everything, and you feel like you're a disgusting piece of shit. And somebody says, I love you though. You might want to kill that person. How could you? I hate me. How do you love me? Love is scary because it's so beautiful.
Mike keeps bringing up these points and he's going deep. I told you today it was a little bit emotional. And love is scary. Interesting. Do you know why people are assholes? I'm going to go straight to this point. Do you know why people are assholes? I'm bringing Mike's point back in a different perspective. Because they don't value themselves. So they have this built up anger or aggression or need to validate themselves externally constantly. Right? It means they're insecure. It's funny, I just had a friend work with someone for quite a few years, and they built a Facebook group. It wasn't huge, but it was quite powerful. And because of their own insecurity, what they did was they kicked this person out the group. They blocked them from every platform, including WhatsApp, and they just disappeared. They stole it. Right? They stole their Facebook group. They stole their lead generation source. They stole their business. Now, those people will justify why they did that. Oh, that person was going to do it to me first. No, they weren't. Wasn't even a thought. Never going to happen. But because of their own insecurity, people do really douchebag things, real asshole things. And that's what they did to this person. Now, this person is very, very conscious, very, very evolved, and got upset by it for a day and then just let it go. Do you know what I mean? They just let it go. How'd you let it go? How'd you let that go? Don't you want to kill that person? Wasn't me, by the way. They just let it go. Because they know that they're bigger than that. And if that's the way these other people are going to do life, do you think that they're going to be successful? No. No, they're not going to be successful. They're going to be running around paranoid in their little world, thinking that everyone's stealing everything from them. And that's what they used to think. They used to, oh my God, the amount of conversations, oh, this person stole my idea. This person stole my idea. Really? Everyone thought about going to the moon. Well, someone did it, right? Everyone thought about electric cars, then someone did it. It's that simple. So when you can understand that people get angry, people get defensive, people get aggressive, people make those stupid actions like these terrible people did, then what you got to understand is it comes from such an insecurity. And that's what Mike's talking about right there. When somebody actually showed him that unconditional love, the darkness, the lights, everything about that person was accepted. He accepted Mike, right? So he couldn't handle that. And he couldn't handle that because he didn't have that self-value, that self-worth inside of himself. But that's everything. We so many times when we look in the past, we make decisions with business partners, for example, or we make decisions with hiring agencies. How many of these agencies out there, have you hired any of these? How many of them suck? 99% of them, right? They suck. And we often hire them because we believe someone else's strategy is going to get us to where we want to go. And it can help, but we hire them out of lack, of fear. Does that make sense? I've done it so many times over the past few years. I mean, it's 4 years, five years actually. And they never ever perform. And it was always I'd bring them in because, oh, I didn't have that level of marketing skill. I didn't have this level of this. Couldn't do that. Well, I just go a different direction, trust myself and trust my own intuition, and things grow very, very fast in a different way. And So I want you to really look inside of you. If you are, or someone else's eyes who's maybe hurting you right now, or you're making a decision that you're maybe being aggressive to someone, or you're doing sly tactics, what is the emotional driver behind why you're doing that? Does that make sense?
I'm aware that a lot of people next to me watch me and may look up to me and think I'm a certain kind of guy, I'm a good guy, but they have to understand that I'm not worthy of praise. They do these things. I look at YouTube and I see guys have Mike Tyson, immortal, Mike Tyson, God, and I'm not worthy of that.
You are, Mike.
Hey, stop. I know me. You can think what you want, but I know. Not for somebody to praise me or anything, no. I'm always just Mike. I was one of those people that worship people because I had nothing. Imagine how low I had to be to worship a nothing. Somebody that's nothing, and I worship them. And when I did the toe the last time, all I did was my whole life was telling me that when I die, all I'm gonna do is apologize. I felt all the pain I ever caused somebody, all the pain I ever caused people in my journey in this world. I didn't see anybody that felt the pain. I couldn't apologize enough. I was so happy that I woke up, you know. Yeah, people can forgive themselves too. I do forgive myself. I want to be, I'm a megalomaniac. Yeah, I forgive myself. I'm fucking perfect. But the reality of it is that you did something, motherfucker. You gotta pay up.
Yes.
That's just my world. That's just what I'm experiencing now. I'll never be forgiven. I believe we have to pay for our sins. No, I do it out of fear. Cause I know, from my experience, I know I'm gonna wind up in some way. I'm gonna have to be questioned for this. You know, it's gonna be a challenge. You know. Sometimes, you know, life is difficult to even live. You know, that life is pretty difficult. And then besides life being difficult, you have to be a responsible individual. You have to establish yourself for your children and your family and your wife and everything. And life, sometimes it comes fast at me. It comes real fast.
Now, Mike's going deep again, right? Mike's going deep again. Now, is there a heaven or hell? Maybe, maybe not, right? Maybe, maybe not. It depends on what people you want to believe. I'm open to whatever people's belief systems are. But I really do believe this. If you've done shady shit, it's going to eat you. It's going to eat you, right? Might not eat you today, might not eat you tomorrow, but it's going to come up because you know what you've done. So like, go back to those people I was talking about before, right? They know what they did. They can justify it for a while, but it's going to be in the back of their head 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They might smile. They might be happy. But inside of the background, from the mask that they're putting out to the world, you know it's going to eat them, right? They'll justify it for a while, but it will eat them. So maturity or mental, emotional maturity means simply being able to make the right strategic decision when under the most amount of pressure, right? So we can make decisions out of anger or we can make decisions out of growth. What I've found always in my own life especially, but in so many people that I've helped, is that if you make a decision out of scarcity or fear or lack, it's always the wrong decision. Think about it. Think about some time in your life that you've made that decision. Oh, I should have done this. Well, yeah, if you'd have done that, who knows if that had worked out, but at least you wouldn't have that doubt, right? And often people take because they doubt. But if we knew fully expanded version of us that truly anything was possible, now I don't mean anything like you can jump to the moon. Well, maybe you can in a quantum physical reality, right? But it's if we make decisions out of growth from that inner pull, then it's normally the right decision. And this is like, goes back to Richard Branson, right? Whatever people think of Richard Branson, he's done all right for himself. He's not done bad, right? He's got 400 businesses or something. His hiring process for the main people is really interesting. I think it's like 96% accuracy that it's the right person, purely intuitive. He just meets them. And there's so many stories, if you read these books, so many stories of him doing interviews when he's still in bed. He's like, literally, they come into the bedroom, he's like just woke up, half asleep. But he just intuitively feels them, right? And knows they're the right person or not. And that's the kind of the superpower of business and life, is being able to tune into that instinct. We're going to use that word. We're going to use instinct. To tune into that instinct all the time and be so confident that you can make decisions and take action from that. That's the superpower of life, right? We all know what it's like to walk into a room, or someone walks into a room and we get a bad vibe from them, right? And I know this is a little bit spiritual today, or whatever you want to call it, man. We can go back to the brain next time. But it's we all have that, like, oof, they're a weird person. There's something off about them, right? And then they turn out to be a serial killer or something, you find out 2 years later. But it's do you know what I mean? We've all had those experiences. Maybe not with the serial killer, but you know what I mean? It's that's the little bit of instinct that we really need to tune into. And society takes us away from that so much. It gives us you know, like, I'll go there. I'll give it a weird analogy. Do you know when I was a kid? I'm getting older now. You know, when I was a kid, we used to fall off climbing frames and you'd hit off the concrete on the floor, right? You might get hurt, probably get hurt, but you won't do it again, right? That's the thing. And these days, you fall off the climbing frame, you bounce, right, off something soft. And I'm not saying that's not a bad thing, but you can't learn from these mistakes if everything is gentle around you. You can't grow if everything is perfect. And so what we need is the duality of life to be able to play out. Duality meaning that the negatives aren't really negative, they're growth. The positives aren't really positives, they're growth. And it goes in a perpetual cycle, that duality. The attachment to that duality is the mistake. The attachment to the highs and the lows is what causes the pain. When we don't attach, then we allow the flow to happen like a progression. We don't start a movie, right? Watching a movie, right? And we don't get really tuned into the hero. Let's use that word, the hero, the main superstar, and we expect them to win in the end, don't we? Right? Now, is that real life? Well, it could be real life if we make the strategic decisions along the way, you know? And this is why it's got to be so important. How do you, this is the key thing, right? Listen to what I'm about to say. How do you want to experience your life? I'll say it again. How do you want to experience your life? There's so many different ways to make money. There's so many different ways to do life. You just got to make sure it's what you want. I've met so many people along the years that are in massive income streams, but they don't like what they do. That causes so many self-destruction problems, right? And ultimately it'll sabotage everything because they're not happy. They're not into what they're doing. They just do it because of money. Man, you're not going to take it with you at the end of this life. You're just not. You don't need as much as you think. It's just marketers have come along and taught the world these days, especially the entrepreneurial world, that you can make millions and millions of dollars and that's what you should be doing and the only thing you should be doing, and you're not worthy, you're not successful unless you're earning millions of dollars. It's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. You don't need as much money as you think. Now, the other side of it is you can get as much money as you want. I don't care. It's awesome. Go and earn $20 billion. It's awesome. Do whatever. I hope you do it. But you don't need as much money as you think. Unless it depends on what you want to be doing, right? If you want to go and help 100 million people and you need $1 billion to do it, then, hey, there's $1 billion. If you want to get $1 billion so you can buy a $500 million yacht, then all right, that's what makes you happy. Go and do it. Whatever. But you got to understand, how do you want to experience your life?
I can say honestly, I have a very deep affection for him. I do. To me, he's my boy. He's with me. I often say to him, I owe you a lot, and he doesn't know what I mean, but I'm going to tell him now what I mean. If he weren't here, I probably wouldn't be alive today. The fact that he is here and doing what he's doing, and doing as well as he's doing, and improving as he has, gives me the motivation and interest to stay alive. Because I believe that a person dies when they no longer wants to live. But I have a reason with Mike here, and he gives me the motivation. I will stay alive, and I will watch him become a success, because I will not leave until that happens.
You had to go through all of that so that you could change the world, dude.
Really, I don't see that. I don't know.
You don't realize how many lives you're changing, saving, because of who you are and what you've been through and how you're willing to speak about it now.
And that's what I want you to realize through all of this. No matter what level of business you're at, you might be earning 5 figures, you might be earning 10 figures, and listening to this. Business might be thriving. You might be scaling. You might be going IPO. You might be doing a merger. You might be doing an acquisition. You might be just getting an idea just started for the first time in your whole life. Well, what you got to remember is we are all human. We're all human. And what that means is we're not here to do anything less than learn. All we're here to do is learn. All we're here to do is grow. All we're here is to become the best version of us that we can possibly be. That's it. And all of the things that you've been through, all of the pains, I've been through bankruptcy, I've been through a nervous breakdown, I've had so much money stolen off me, I've been homeless, I've been, it goes on and on and on. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because my life is awesome. I can go where I want. I'm completely free. I've got money. I'm happy, healthy. I've got an amazing wife. I travel where I want. I help incredible people. I'm just about to head to Dubai. I'm going to be speaking on stage. It's like everything changes. And all of that experience, and that's what it is from the past, experience means that you can share it with someone else, help someone else, or help you yourself so you can help your business and life. It's all wisdom. And when we gain wisdom, wisdom comes from experience, and experience only comes when we go and do things, right? So whatever it is, if you need to bounce back, if you need to reboot, if you need to expand, then let's have a chat. Right? Crew, that's the end of episode 413. I'm going to make sure we get another one out next week because I missed a week. I'm sorry. But yeah, keep kicking ass. Head over to andymurphy.online. Get your latest and greatest. Remember, do what? Well, you get your Total Mental Control handbook. Grab it for free. What else? You can go to the shop and go and get the 8-Figure Thinker University, or you can get the Genius Trader. What else? If you're a special one and you want to accelerate everything, if you want the cheat sheet to performance and get there faster, then why don't you apply to have a chat with me? Until the next time, keep kicking ass. andymurphy.online is waiting for you. Oh yeah, one more thing. Why don't you smile for me?
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode of the Mindset by Design podcast with your host and NLP expert, Andy Murphy. We'll catch you next time.